it's going well for you anyhow, especially if you're on a bank holiday. It's not one we get up here in Scotland, but hey, the sun is shining. It's been a lovely, lovely day, so I am still very, very happy. So I am back with our A to Z of essences, and today we're on our letter F. For this one, I have chosen Fuchsia, and this is a gorgeous essence. Oh, I seem to say that about them all because they are all lovely. So Fuchsia is about looking at those emotions that we've buried down, we've shoved them down because either it's not been the right time to deal with them, we've had to get through other sorts of things at the time. It can be because they've come from a place of trauma and it's just been too difficult. Or we've just not been in the space, the right place to address them at that particular time. So we've shoved them down, we've put them in a box, we've put them to one side, and either thought we'll just ignore them completely and they'll go away. Or we thought, well, once things have settled down, we'll come back to them. And we never ever do. So these emotions can start to sort of creep out the little box that we put them into and start to affect us on a day-to-day basis, or affect the way we behave, the way we interact with others. And so Fuchsia lets us look at these in a slightly detached sort of way, without that intensity of emotion that's been with them to begin with. It's not about they suddenly release the lid on the box and all sorts of mess comes out and reduces you to a blubbering wreck in the corner. Essences are all about subtlety. They help us, to say, gently bring that energy, that vibration back to where it should be. They let us look at what needs to be addressed in an appropriate sort of way. It's very much like if you're looking at like the layers of an onion, going all Shrek here. So you've got, if you look at our emotions, our energy, like the layers, and so you'll start taking an essence and it takes one layer off and lets us deal with that, let go of whatever doesn't serve us anymore, lets us learn the lessons that we've needed to, and lets it go. And then we can move on to the next layer and the next layer. Sometimes one essence will do that and that's it, job done. Sometimes it will bring up an awareness of something else and we can look at that. And so it very much depends on where you're at the time. So Fuchsia is about that gentle release of those repressed emotions that need to be gently taken out of their box and thanked for the lessons, but let go. In terms of our animals, they don't necessarily push those emotions down as far as we're aware anyhow, but you do get animals which perhaps they've been through trauma and they're quite repressed in their behaviour. They can sometimes be quite shut down, or they're not engaging with life the way that they hold back that little bit. So Fuchsia can be one of those essences that can help, again in the same way as it does for us, just gently let them release whatever's holding them back, those emotions that can just need to be let go of. In terms of those of us who work with animals in a professional way or involuntary way, anybody that is connected with animals on a day-to-day basis, sometimes you can be dealing with a lot of heavy emotions from people and sometimes from animals themselves. If you're working in a rescue situation, you can be dealing with people who are perhaps giving up their animals, and that can take its toll after a while and lead to compassion fatigue, burnout. Rather than just keep pushing it down and getting on, Fuchsia can help us release that along with a good grounding practice. It can help release that so that we can give the best of ourselves and connect with the people, the animals that we come in contact with on a daily basis, but without that same sort of taking on all that emotion, pushing it down, because it will come out at some point. So I would always recommend having a very good grounding practice for anybody that's working in that sort of environment, and you can use essences to support that as well. So it's a really useful essence on a whole lot of levels there. So in terms of taking the essence, for ourselves, I would always recommend taking it in a combination bottle, so maybe a 30ml bottle, a few drops of your chosen essence according to the creator's guidance, and then you can take it either in a water bottle. I usually drop my essences in my water bottle and then I've got it through the day, because you want to be taking them at least 4 times a day, but you can take them as often as you need them. If you feel you need them, take them. You can't take them too much. You can also use them in a mister spray round about you, either spraying them just into your aura, onto your clothing. You can use them in a diffuser. You can use them topically on your skin, or a bath as well is lovely. For our animals, in water bottles, water butts, whatever they're, water bowls even, that they drink out of, again you can use them topically. Massaging them, especially into ears where you've got lots and lots of beautiful pressure points in there, can be super effective and really calming as well for both animal and for yourself. It's one of those things you can zone out to. There's a really lovely pressure point here, and so if you pop a few drops of essences just onto this little bit here, it can be really effective. A lot of dogs, horses will carry tension here, and so that can, there's a few meridian points that come up here, so you can pop them in there. Always check if you're working with an animal that they are happy for that essence to be around them. Never just shove it on their coat into the space without checking first. So I will always drop a few drops of the essence onto my hands and offer them to the animal. Sometimes they'll have just a wee sniff, and yeah, that's fine. Sometimes they'll have a lick. If you get any strong reaction, so an animal, oh, no, get that away from me, then we leave it be. Go back to the drawing board. Never put an essence onto an animal who has a strong reaction there. If you're offering it essences in water, then a plain water bowl with no essences, one with essences, so the animal has a choice as to whether they're taking them or not. And in terms of multi-animal households, then if an animal doesn't need that essence, the same as us, if it's not needed, it won't do anything. It's about bringing that energy, that vibration back into balance, and so if they are in the right place to begin with, there's no job there for the essence to do. So it's perfectly safe to be using essences around multi-animal households, or people as well. One useful tip can be if you are working with animals, whether that's your own pet animals or animals you come in contact on a daily basis, spraying it on your clothing round about nose how. Really handy, because then it comes into the space again, provided you have checked there's no strong reaction there. You don't want to add more problems onto where there are already issues. But it can be really useful once you check that out to spray, say, trouser legs if you're working with reactive dogs, if you're sitting with an animal and holding space for them, if they've been in a traumatic situation, perhaps in a rescue centre, they're just very nervy, panicky, and you're just sitting, holding space, spraying it round about you so that it is around. Really, really lovely and supportive for that animal. So that's us for today. So after all that, our essence was Fuchsia. It's about supporting those repressed, buried emotions that come up, and it also will support the heart chakra in doing so as well. So I will look forward to speaking to you again tomorrow, and I will be back then. Have a fantastic rest of your day. You take care now. Bye.